Millions of couples every year and every day try to have a family. A crucial part of creating a family is being able to have children on your own. I read this article on parents.com and it shared a journey of Ashley and James Foster and their story of their pregnancy. They had mentioned that it took them about 2 years to try for their baby and probably spent hundreds of dollars on pregnancy tests hoping for the positive result. It was later found out that the husband had a very low sperm count, so that was the main reason why it was so hard for them to have a baby. Luckily, in the end, they were able to have one and start their family. However, this isn't the case for everyone, as there are still so many families and couples who never get that positive result. What if I told you that there was a way to create life without needing a sperm or an egg? That would change the world that we live in and help so many families who are unable to have children and many families that face medical problems due to their pregnancy. Today, I'll be talking about synthetic embryos. Genetic analysis revealed that they found that model embryos were 95% similar to those of real mouse embryos. This test is very important because it showed us that natural embryos and model embryos are very similar and can be explored further. First, I will talk about the creation of synthetic embryos. Second, I'll be explaining how far researchers have gone with their progress. And lastly, I will be discussing how this discovery can change the world. First, let's talk about the creation of synthetic embryos. Synthetic embryos are the new technology of medicine. Synthetic embryology is the creation of an embryo using stem cells rather than a natural embryo. These natural embryos are developed by the natural fertilization of oocytes. According to CNN on September 5th of 2022, scientists took 3 different stem cells and tried to create that embryo. They'd taken body tissue, tissue from the placenta, and also tissue from the sac where the embryo was developed. Researcher Zernica Goetz isolated these 3 different stem cells in her lab and tried to have them combined. Next, let's talk about how far researchers have gone with their progress. With this new discovery, scientists have been trying to make rapid advances in their medicine to get it implemented into medicine sooner. But with a discovery this big, there are many challenges along the road. According to The Guardian, in August 3rd of 2022, scientists at Weizmann Institute shared that they have been only able to try to create a brain and a beating heart for the mouse embryos. With new information being learned every day, it gives scientists insight of what works and what doesn't work. Researcher Zernica Goetz also shared that these trials can help correct any failing organs or failing tissues throughout the process. Another report from SciTech Daily in August 22nd of 2022 shared that these results help scientists comprehend why some embryos form into healthy pregnancies and while some don't. With trials being performed every day, it is not too far off to say that this medicine can't be implemented into humans in the future. It is much harder to implement this medicine into humans because of how complex the human body is, obviously more than a mouse. Even though mice have been used for testing for science for many years, there are many differences like more bone structure, more cell activity in humans than mice. Finally, let's talk about how this discovery can change the world forever. A breakthrough like this can help ease the journey of pregnancy for many women, especially women, and for families as well. While embryos growing in a lab, there are so many benefits for these families and women. Women won't have to carry the baby around in their stomach for 9 months and deal with micromanaging their bodies 24/7 for the sake of the baby. They won't have to give up any special drinks, any certain food, and anything like exercising for the safety and health of the baby. They can focus on the fun parts like creating a nursery in their house and gender reveal parties and just the fun part of pregnancy and not the negative part. Women won't also have to worry about the dangers that goes into having a baby. Women face excruciating pain going into labor and often have to take drastic measures to ease that pain. Also, in the society that we live in today, which is focused on beauty standards and how women's body looks, It is a known fact that women's bodies change after pregnancy, and that can be very hard for a woman mentally to deal with. Mayo Clinic on November 24th of 2022 also shared what postpartum depression was. This is an issue that a lot of women deal with, but it is not talked about a lot. Women often deal with anxiety, mood swings, trouble sleeping, crying, you name it. Women often deal with many struggles after their pregnancies that isn't talked about enough. And with embryos going in a lab, this problem can be easily fixed. This discovery can change the life of so many families. Many women are unable to have children for whatever reasons, such as medical reasons, etc. And also a lot of men can deal with low sperm count, like the story I had mentioned in the beginning of this speech. So it is very important to know that this discovery can help so many families. Scientists can also cure/change DNA of the child and help prevent or cure any diseases that the child might have prior to them even being born. By having access to the DNA, they're able to do this. Many disabilities and diseases are often passed down from the parents and to the child. And with synthetic embryos, this can be completely avoided. Medline Plus on March 22nd of 2022 explained what genome editing is. It is basically gene editing. Scientists can take technologies and can change organisms' DNA to fix anything that they want to, such as diseases and disabilities, like I had mentioned. Even though genome editing as well as synthetic embryos aren't fully developed yet, both being worked on the way is very crucial to the importance of science in the future. Today, I talked about the creation of synthetic embryos. Second, I talked about how far researchers have gone with their progress. And lastly, I talked about how this discovery can change the world that we live in forever. Now that we understand the magnitude of and importance of discoveries being implemented into science every day, we see that we shouldn't take advantage of anything like life and childbirth, and because so many people don't get to experience that. With synthetic embryos helping so many families and couples, it can make that process just a little bit easier.